Okay, so what is swipe and deploy marketing? Now, this isn't a new concept, and it was originally attributed to a guy called Dan Kennedy. If you've never heard of him, he's considered one of America's leading marketing minds, written all kinds of books, does lots of high-priced training, consulting, etc. He's a smart guy and certainly worth following, certainly worth getting some of his materials. I've got a few of his books. They are really, really good. But anyway, enough about Dan Kennedy. What about swipe and deploy? Right, swipe and deploy is the idea where you see a good idea out there in the world, no matter what it is, and we're going to apply this to marketing, and you think, well, actually, you know what, I could do that or something like it and make it work for me. Now, the swipe and deploy is no secret. In the 1950s, when television became really, really popular, somebody came up with the notion of using celebrities and famous people to endorse a product. It worked, but pretty soon, lots and lots of products were using celebrity endorsements, and so it became just what people did, and it's still being done today. George Clooney and Nespresso is a good example. So that's one way where swipe and deploy, literally emulating what other people are doing and making it your own, became a big deal. And there are hundreds. I mean, to be honest, let's be honest. There are few secrets in the business world. There are few secrets in marketing. Marketing automation is something you should definitely do. Other people have written case studies and ideas, etc. You can find them all over the place. There's no reason why you can't swipe and deploy some of those. I recommend it. So, and also advertising, it's very easy to see where people's advertising is working or not, etc. Again, no reason why you couldn't swipe and deploy. Take it, make it your own, put it into action. It reminds me of the old Rotary slogan from gosh, a number of years ago now, which was adopt, adapt, improve. Adopt, adapt, improve. So what they're doing is adopting ideas, adapting it, improving it, and then trying to make the world a better place. And there's no reason why you can't adopt the same mentality in your business. If you see a good idea, ask yourself, how can I use this in my business? Now, there's a few different sources for this. Now, one of them is your competition. One of the things I would urge you to do is to try not to be just like your competition. But if you do see a good idea, and doesn't necessarily have to be your competition, it could be another business in a different industry selling to a different audience. But if you do see a good idea, have a look. Think, can I make this better? Can I improve on this? Can I make this different for us? The goal thing is that lots and lots of people are looking for ideas. But very few people actually implement them. They don't put them into action. And that's why a lot of businesses stall, because they've got to a point where they're no longer implementing ideas. They've got to the point where they're no longer improving. Some people are no longer striving to grow. There's no shortage of ideas out there. There is an awful shortage of implementation. So don't let that happen to you. Another great thing to try and watch out for are newspapers and magazines, particularly to do with headlines. Simply because headlines are what gets noticed about newspapers. And there's a great lesson to be there. They'll do a headline, a short attention-grabbing headline, attention-grabbing statement underneath it, which leads you in to read further. Some people might call it the paper version of clickbait. Clickbait is not necessarily there to sell you anything. It's just there to get you to click, to present a message, often accompanied by a hell of a load of advertising. And it just works. Can you do something similar? Can you do some headline grabbing stuff? It's not as difficult as you think once your mind starts working on it, and set your mind to working on it. It definitely is worth it. Now, another great thing to do is to look at what's happening in advertising on YouTube. Now, there's a lot of creativity going into advertising on YouTube. And whilst you may not necessarily be into videos, there's certainly a load of ideas. If you watch YouTube, if you've not got the YouTube paid for service, I can't remember what it's called now, I think it's YouTube Premium, then you will no doubt, if you spend any time on YouTube, as I do, see ads. And if one gets your attention, think, what are they doing that I might be able to do in some of my marketing? Like I said, you don't necessarily have to do video marketing, you don't necessarily have to do video advertising, but if you see a good idea, have a think. What do I like? What do I like about this? How can I make this work for me? Or something similar. How can I adopt, adapt and improve it, make it work for me? Now, there's a number of caveats that go with this. And it's very important. First of all, if you just copy and paste, you can be sued for breach of copyright. If you use any imagery or something that's incredibly close to one of your competitors, again, the same principle can apply. If you use a very, very similar approach to one of your very close competitors that makes it look very, very similar to theirs, could possibly be mistaken as one of theirs, you could be sued for passing off. So you need to be aware that you need to make it your own. Take the idea, but don't take the copyright imagery and words. There's no copyright on ideas. This is why a lot of people who've got ideas often insist that others sign non-disclosure agreements, because there is no legal, once an idea is out in public, there's no copyright on it. You can take the idea, you can take the concept, you can take the thinking behind it. What you can't do is take the exact material and just copy it, or even just make a version of your own which is very, very similar, because somebody will notice and you could end up in trouble. But here's the cool thing about it though, is once you get your mind into thinking like this, you will start to spot opportunities all over the place. You'll start to spot ideas all over the place. And I always recommend that you carry with you the facility to make notes. I have a little notebook. It goes with me pretty much anywhere. There's one in the car. When I go to business stuff, there's always a notebook with me. Some people put stuff into their phone. I tried that, but I forget that it's there. The act of writing it down helps me to remember. And doesn't matter whether I see it later. If I've written it down, I'm almost certainly going to remember. However it works for you, doesn't matter. Make notes, because you will, once you switch on to this, start to see stuff everywhere, and it's worth doing. And finally, and this is a big deal, if you get a good idea, do something with it. Don't just let it sit there. Don't just let it disappear into the ether. Don't just, think, oh, that's a great idea, and then do nothing. Remember, nothing will improve in your business, nothing will change in your business until you actively improve and you actively change it. It takes action, implementation. And like I said, I've said this so many times, there's no shortage of ideas in the world. There's a strong shortage of implementation. Don't let that be you. Well, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember, if you've got questions, please ask. We always respond to questions on our media. But yeah, go out there and do it. Thanks a lot. And bye for now.